the plan, let me share with you 3 barriers to scaling up your business. And when I say scaling up, I mean you want to be able to grow it and sustain that growth. And so that's what I mean when I say scaling your business. And so there are 3 barriers that you have to be aware of and you have to address in that process. If you make a great plan and you do not address these 3 issues, it will undermine your plan and it'll hinder your growth. So I want you to be really clear on what these 3 barriers are so they don't become hindrances or obstacles to you in the growth of your business. The first one is leadership. And by that, what I mean is the inability to staff and grow enough leaders throughout the organization who have the capabilities to delegate and scale. And you need to grow as a leader, and you need to make sure you're doing stuff, you're being proactive as a business owner to grow and develop personally. You can be reading, you can be taking in podcasts, you can be in peer groups, you can get in coaching relationships, which, by the way, I plug. And there are a lot of different things that you can do, but you need to do something. You need to be proactive about growing yourself as a leader and increasing your capacity. A business will only grow to the capacity of the leader. Okay? So many times when I'm working with businesses and they say, well, we've hit this plateau and we can't seem to get off this plateau. The first place I start is I start working with that leader, that owner. Well, let's increase your capacity because right now this is all you personally have the leadership capacity to achieve. And so you've got to grow as a leader. And then not only do you need to grow, but you need to grow the people in your organization, particularly your management team or those people right beneath you who are helping drive and lead the company. And so you should have a development plan for yourself and a development plan for your key people. And if possible, everybody in your company. And I like what Michael Gerber says. He said small businesses should see themselves as a school. I thought, wow, I've never heard anybody say that before. But Gerber wrote the book, E-Myth Revisited. He's been kind of the guru of small businesses in America since the mid-'80s. And he says, we should see ourselves as a school where we're developing people, and we see that as part of what we do. And it pays off because as the leadership capacity of you and your team grow, then the capacity for your company to grow increases as well. The second barrier is scalable infrastructure. And by that I mean the lack of systems and structures to handle the complexities in communication and decisions that come with growth. As your company grows, you're going to have to communicate more. You're going to have more people probably to communicate with. You want to communicate the values and the vision and make sure you transfer the culture of your company or your organization throughout all of your team. And you've got to make decisions, and you've got to, as you grow, delegate decision-making authority. And so this ability to have the systems in place to grow and scale internally is crucial, because if you're not communicating well as you grow, if you're not making good, thoughtful decisions as you grow, you can actually grow yourself right out of business. I've worked with several companies that when I met with the owner for the first time, I remember one company in particular, a home services company. He said, man, we have grown the last 3 years. We've gone from $500,000 to $2.5 million in growth in revenue in the last 3 years. I said, wow, that's amazing. Why are you calling me? He said, because we don't have any cash. We seem to not be able to make money. We made more money when we were at $500,000 than we do today at $2.5 million. And so what happens sometimes with companies, if you don't have good scalable infrastructure, you can grow yourself right out of business. And you don't want that to happen. So scalable infrastructure is a barrier you got to address. And then this one you really don't have a lot of control of, and that's the market dynamic. But you do have control of your ability to forecast, to look ahead, and to plan for what you anticipate is going to come. And, none of us have a crystal ball. We can't look at the crystal ball and, this is what's going to happen in my industry next year. But we've got to be thinking about it. We've got to be brainstorming about it. We need to be talking to other people within our industries. and be aware of what's going on, not only in our industry, but also in the economy around us. And Houston is such a big market, this region, that sometimes even what happens on a national scale doesn't affect us, but things that happen to us may be contrary to what's happening on a national scale. So you want to be tuned in to what's going on, particularly in the Houston region, in the Houston market. If you're at a regulated industry like Rand or some of you, that you have state regulations, then you got to be attuned to what's going on in the state and what's going on with legislation and things like that. But the point is, know what's going on in your market and be anticipating. Because if you get caught, if you get surprised, then that can hinder your growth. In fact, that can undermine everything in your plan. So these are the three barriers you want to make sure you're thinking about, you're planning around, you're taking action on, so they don't create a roadblock for you in your business. Now,